safe, run. And that is when I judge that the truck is still a safe distance off and you've got plenty of time to move. The idea being that from there where it was directly under threat, if you start to clear over to me when I say clear, you've gone into that position. They'll be able to hold that long lens shot until you're right in front of the wheel. You'll keep going, but the cutting point will be there and leave you where the dummy was. Does that sound right to you?
I hear in theory, but I got to see it.
Now I'll be right there. If I feel anything's wrong, and this is just an extra backup, I'm ready there to take you out in a rugby tackle. Okay. Now I might lose some skin, but it's better than being hit by a truck. So that's your extra backup. You'll be given a safe position to take from. I'll also be calling to you all the way through.
I think you're he's completely spent by now. You've done that whole run. You've run all the way through. You get into the road. It's just relief to see some civilization. It's just the sight of the road now is kind of like pure relief. So I think you'll come into that long lens shot. And you see the truck, and it's like you're standing there.
Where's the shot?
Back from there. Gotcha. It'll be on you.
I'm right here. It'll be safe, run. Just as a backup.
Okay, so
Looking up just as the truck starts.
Is that on action?
Yeah. So it would be good if he came out clean of the truck, right? So we could just cue him a bit early. I think.
Yeah.
As soon as he sees the truck, give him the cue. Look up. So. Away. That's kind of the deal.
Time him arriving and the truck arriving at the same time.
Just get Jim out clean.
Just Jim can come on action when I cue the truck.
All right, let's imagine how tired I am.
Oh, you're wiped out at this point.
So maybe I'm at my knee.
Stand by to do this then, please.
Right, mate. Yeah, thanks. It's been a pleasure, Jim.
But on the right hand, but on the right.
Action, Jim.
And Jim did an incredible job. I mean, he was there right well, normally we'd have to use a stunt double, but Jim was prepared to be there in the scene, in front of that truck, to pick a moment, and it was getting pretty close at 80 Ks, and I was standing about 2 meters out. It was a long lens shot down that way, and on my command, he just exited the shot, and we both went out together, and the truck slid in behind him. It was a good moment.
No, we took it off.
It's in there.
No, it's it. That's off the light.
That was good.
Yeah. I'm going to bill for the crane.
Bill for the crane, handheld in the crane, the other one.
Here we are rigging the car. I remember this night we had a production screw up where I needed a cherry picker to light the set with, and they sent me a construction crane instead, which was totally useless to me. So my assistant director here, Paul Walton, and I had to come up with a solution, and the only thing we could really do that night was to shoot all the car dialogue because we had the equipment to light and rig that. So poor Jim and Claudia had that news sprung on them where a scene that wasn't scheduled for about 2 weeks was coming up, and there was about 13 pages of dialogue that they hadn't learnt by that point, which was a bit of a rude awakening for all of us. Now here's Lance Whitehouse. I met Lance on Storm Warning, and he's just an amazing guy, and someone I just love dearly. He's just always helping out and always ready with a solution. He's just one of those guys who've got a fix for anything, and he also helped me all the way at the end of the movie after we'd wrapped. I had to do pickup photography with a very small skeleton crew of people, and Lance came along and helped me out and made sure I could get the film completed and brought all the props and things I needed out with Peter Blackwood. So Lance and Peter, thank you so much, guys. Okay, here we are. Jim's driving the car here. We didn't use a trailer rig or anything like that. Jim's actually literally driving the car with the cameras mounted on there without operators. And then we would do that over and over, shoot the 13 pages of dialogue from Jim's side, then pull the car over, re-rig the car, which took about 45 minutes to put the cameras on the other side. And then I shot Claudia's coverage, and that's how we knocked the car stuff over pretty quickly that one night. These tracks that we shot on out in the prom were very remote, and got quite dirty once the vehicles and the rain had been on there for a period of time. It just became very muddy and uncomfortable, and there were lots of mosquitoes that night. Most nights actually, especially near our campsite location, which you'll see later on. There was just so many mosquitoes, it was just ridiculous there. So we're prepping this is when they've turned off the main road, and I think it's where he finds crickets hiding in the back of the car.
Let's lose that box and that stuff. Yep. It does look good. It does look good. Yes.
Oh, you want to tell us something? Come on, Christopher.
Well, he'll cry.
Oh, Chris Walken.
He'll cry.
You know what I did to those duckies? How do you think I learned that?
Jim's the second actor I've worked with over the years that does a very, very funny impersonation of Christopher Walken. The other was Michael Rosenbaum on Urban Legend. Carl von Moller, my cinematographer, Carl and I went to film school together, and Carl shot Storm Warning for me, as well as lots of other short films and ads over the years. So loved working with Carl. We also had Vincent Monton out on this movie, who was the cinematographer of the original film, and Vince shot a second unit, actually directed the second unit photography, and also operated second camera on some of my multicam scenes. And it was just invaluable having Vince out there. I shudder to think if we'd only had the one unit, how many shots might not be in the movie. So I'm very grateful that we were able to get Vincent Monton out for the shoot. So this is practical rain effects once again as we're shooting in the park. This location was very convenient because we were all stationed in Sandy Point. All the crew members had houses there. That was the closest location to the national park. It was still about an hour away. This area here where we shot the campgrounds was right in Sandy Point, which was walking distance for most people, which was a nice change because usually we'd spend about an hour driving to and from set. Here's Jim goofing around on set. Some very funny times. He's just a great guy with a terrific sense of humour, but one of the most intense and committed actors I've ever worked with. I've never seen somebody who just embraces the role so much, but still had time to have a bit of fun with it. He's just a terrific human being, and I can't wait to work with Jim again. Same thing with Claudia too. It was just a terrific team. Those two guys were just so supportive, and only having the two actors to focus on just really it just made it possible for us to have a lot more time working on those characters than would be possible on a bigger movie with a bigger cast. So it was a nice rare, and it was a change from the usual, being able to focus in on two people like that.
Cut. 139, take 3, AMD comment. A marker, B marker.
You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? Talk to me. You hear what I'm saying? I'm not going without her. You hear me? You hear me? I'm not going without her. I'm not going without her. I'm not going without her. You hear me? Go!
So,
The movie was shot with the Arri D20 cameras, digital system that have been superseded by the D21s now. But they were beautiful cameras, very, very good optics, and lovely pictures that they delivered. The problem was that they were probably more suited to a studio shoot than a location shoot, just because they were very cumbersome and took a long time to set up. And they probably ended up costing me a bit of shooting time in the end. But they gave us a great picture, and I'm very happy with the final image. It looks very filmic, and it integrates nicely with the 35mm stuff that we did.
And cut.
You should stay on Jim. You should be on Jim though. Well, that's better. That's what you should be on.
No?
So I took a different approach when I was blocking and shooting this movie. In the past, would often figure out my camera move and then work the actors within that frame. I didn't think that was appropriate on this movie, given that it was such a performance-driven film. I really wanted the actors to be able to be a bit freed from those constraints and let them kind of dictate a little bit of the blocking and see what came naturally and organically to them as they were reading the scene and playing it out together. Then I'd watch what they were doing, and I'd figure out my coverage based on that. We'd make a few little tweaks here and there for the camera's benefit, but ultimately it was the actors blocking, and I think it helped give the film a bit more of a natural feel. and made life a little trickier for the camera operators and the focus pullers who weren't always sure what was coming up. But they did a mighty job, and ultimately it was my problem in the end anyway, as I was going to edit the movie. Okay.